As promised, here's a quick tutorial on model railroad soldering. Not too different from soldering you would in the electronics world. So we have a couple tools here. Of course, we have our Weller soldering iron. This is a WP25 using a chisel tip. One of the keys with soldering is you make sure you have the right tip for the application that you're working on. We have some flux paste. This is some paste I got from Radio Shack years ago when they were still in business. We have some PC solder here. This is a really thin solder for electronics. Make sure you have the right solder for the application which you're working with. I've seen people fail because they're trying to use solder that's too thick, and I've even seen people try to use plumber solder for electronics. That will not yield you very good results, if any. This sometimes you need a helping hand, so I picked this up at Lidl a few years ago, and if you've been to Lidl, you know they have their aisles of randomness where you never know what you're going to find there. I was shocked to find this guy, so I picked him up. It's helped out a little bit. Has some 30 gauge wire that we got from Amazon. And our project today is we're going to extend wires on this HS scale block signal. This is one that I picked up from a outfit in China. Not too bad, basic detail. This is for your more budget conscious model railroader. Similar to what the RF&P used. This isn't super detailed, but for the price I got this for, it can't really beat it. Let's go ahead and extend this green wire here. So what I did before I started this video is I did a little tinning here where I put a little solder on the wire just to get it started. And I cut some heat shrink and put a little heat shrink over that, and then put it in the jaw. And that will keep the jaw from destroying the wire or causing any damage to it. Alright, so we have our 30 gauge wire. This wire strips very easily. Just take your fingernails, and that insulation comes right off. So give the wires a little twist. Then dip it in the paste. Take soldering iron, make sure it's nice and clean. Put some solder on there. Now what you're going to do is you don't need much solder. That flux paste is going to help the solder suck into those wires. So as you can see, that's nice and clean. You want it to be shiny. We'll trim the excess a little bit. Trim a little bit more. So we're going to do a little bit of overlap here. And make sure that you keep your soldering iron clean. There we go. Just like that. Have a nice clean connection. Run your heat shrink over the connection. Clean the iron. We're just applying a little bit of heat to get the heat shrink to activate. Alright, have a good solid connection there. just going to cut this the same length as the rest of my wires. Just like we did before. Pulling off about maybe 1/4 inch to 3/8 of an inch. Give it a little twist. Dip it in the paste. Clean the soldering iron. And apply just a little bit of solder. Simple. I know soldering can be intimidating for some people new in the hobby, or even people who have been in the hobby for a while. My best advice, just get yourself some scrap wire and some solder. Order some basic soldering supplies. You don't need a whole lot. Just some flux paste, thin PC board solder, nice Weller iron, and practice around with it. Build a technique. Just like anything, it takes practice. This hobby is no different than any other hobby. You'll get out of it what you put into it. Of course, with this hobby, you're everything from an electrician to a carpenter to a surveyor to an engineer. It's all what you want to make out of it. So, but let's get in there, try your hand at it, and let me know how you do. And if you could like and subscribe this video, I'd greatly appreciate it. I hope to share more basic tips with our Back to Basics series on model railroading. And we'll see you again soon. Thank you for watching.